In the words of Phil from Groundhog Day, don't drive angry. We are live in Studio B with your day-to-day BYU Sports play-by-play. I am Spencer Linton alongside Jarom Jordan. It's not every day we get to interview a four-star running back, and we're keeping him at 4 stars regardless of what these other rating services have done since he's been to BYU.
Yeah, they're inconvenient.
He is 4 stars.
This is one time where television really fails to capture the true excitement of a large squirrel predicting the weather, Spencer.
He didn't see a shadow, by the way. Oh, wait, he did see a shadow.
He did, so 6 more weeks of winter. But it's going to be summer when L.J. Martin shows up at BYU in June, because this guy's a baller, ESPN top 300 guy, number 17 running back in the country. BYU got him. BYU got him. I talked to him earlier this morning about his decision to become a Cougar. LJ, we've seen some really nice signee videos in the past, but this is up there because you had all the BYU swag at the assembly with your high school, and this is what it looked and sounded like.
Brigham Young University.
It was like a grand reveal. Shout out to my Uncle Connell there, who provided some flags for that event, which was awesome. But what was that moment like for you?
It was just surreal, It was just, I finally got to make the announcement that I'm finally a BYU Cougar, and it was just a blessing. It was just really exciting for me and my friends. We've never really been part of something like this, so I just wanted to make sure I got them to be part of it and things like that. So it was just really fun for all of us, and we were all happy.
You signed in December, but kept it a secret until yesterday. How'd you keep that a secret?
It was pretty hard. You had people asking, where you going and stuff like that. Sorry about the bell. I'm at school right now, but, you just have people asking you, and you're like, hey, I would just had to, wear a little bit of my Stanford stuff that I already had. So, and then once I was able to sign, I was all happy because, I got my bag. I got my a little shirt right here, my hoodie. So, I was just really excited, and, it was just something I was able to do because it's not like I was trying to go around telling everyone, not bragging, but it was just, once it happened, I was finally able to let everyone know.
I'm talking to L.J. Martin, who can keep a secret here on BYU Sports Station. Walk us through the timeline of originally committing to Texas Tech, later at Stanford. BYU plays Stanford, beats Stanford. David Shaw resigns. Great coach at Stanford, of course. And then your life changes. Kind of walk us through the timeline there, and then how BYU entered in and how you figured out that BYU was the spot for you.
Yeah. Sorry about the bell there again.
Hey, all good, man. You're in a high school. It's normal.
Yes, sir. But, what happened? So I had started talking to Coach G from Stanford since, I would say, last January. And, we had been talking since then. And, I had been talking to Texas Tech as well since then, since McGuire got the job. And, they came down in April. They came down to the school, and they kind of, they had told me if I wasn't going to commit. And they were my number one at the time. But if I didn't commit, my offer would have been pulled. So we went ahead and committed because we felt like that was best at the time. And then I was still in close contact with Stanford. They offered later in May. And then, I finally got into school there. And once I got into school, I was like, that's where I want to be. I just took in the official visits as well. So once I got into school there, I was committed and I was set for that. I was supposed to graduate early and attend Stanford in January for the early enrollees. But once Coach Shaw got resigned and stuff like that, that was my last high school game. So I played my last high school game that weekend on the Saturday, and then he resigns later that Saturday. So it was just like a pretty bad Saturday, I would say. But it was actually a blessing in disguise because, a couple of days later, BYU reaches out. Coach McDaniel, Coach Harvey, they reach out, they offer. I have them in my house a little bit, just talking to them. They seem like great people. And then I went on the official, met some other recruits, like the running back room, Chris Bucks, those guys. I just had a great time with them. And then, I just ended up committing because I felt like that was the best place I needed to be. Coach A-Rod, Coach Kalani, all those guys just felt like great people, genuine people, and I felt like I'd be taking really good care of there.
That was a quick timeline. What was it about BYU that made you feel like it was the best spot for you?
It was just relationships, I would say. Coach Kalani feels like a genuine dude. I just really enjoyed my time there. Coach Harvey, he's another great dude. They just felt really stand up. They're honest with me throughout the whole process. And then along with that, I had a great time with the other recruits like Ryder Burton, you guys' quarterback signee, who just signed in my class. I had a great time up there with them and stuff like that. Ciale, they're just really cool dudes. And I was like, this is something I really want to be a part of. And that's what made me ultimately come to the decision.
We're talking to LJ Martin out of El Paso, Texas, ESPN Top 300 recruit here on BYU Sports Nation. I'm looking at your stats, and they're just monster. Nearly 6,000 yards in high school and 60 touchdowns. What was it about your high school experience that led to so much success, and how would you describe yourself as a player? What type of running back are you?
I would say I'm a versatile running back. I'm just trying to help my team win. If it's coming out the backfields, catching passes, running the ball, blocking, I'm just trying to do everything I can to win, even if it's splitting out wide. But I would say what led to my high school success is just wanting to play the game. I was a freshman on JV because I was on the wrong field at the time. I accidentally went to the JV field instead of the freshman field. They just stuck me up there, so that worked out nice. And then I had like 5 touchdowns one game, and they just ended up moving me up to varsity, and I did pretty well. I was a little bit like a slot receiver. That's what I played. And then my sophomore year was COVID year, so, it was just a awkward year. We played one game in like October. It was our first game, and our starting running back at the time, he had fumbled like the first snap. So then he put me in coach, and, he gave me basically the whole drive, and I ended up going down, scoring a touchdown. And after that, he pretty much just gave me full control, would give me the ball most of the time in the offense. And I just really appreciate that from him. It just felt like belief in me. And then after that, it was just hard work after that. And yeah, that's really it. Just having coach believe in me, just putting in that work, and it all worked out.
So if you want to be somewhere, you just physically go there. You just show up on the JV field, and then they'll put you on the JV.
Yes,
I love that. That's great.
Well,
that's great.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You just don't pay attention.
Or just don't pay attention. Just luck into it. But you had to perform, which is awesome. Okay, BYU's going to the Big 12. You're a kid in Texas here. BYU's got a couple of Texans on the team. Keanu Hill is one of the more notable ones. What role did BYU going to the Big 12 have in your decision, if at all?
It had a little bit of a factor, but it really didn't. Because at the time you guys were independent, and you guys were playing like basically a Power 5 schedule already. You guys played Power 5 worthy opponents. Like you guys had Notre Dame last year. You had Stanford on there. I remember that one, and a couple others. But you guys already played Power 5 opponents, so it really was like you guys were a Power 5 school, just not in the conference name, if that makes sense.
That's how it felt for a while, yeah.
But yes, sir, it definitely was a plus just saying you're able to play Power 5 and, a Big 12. But, yeah, it really didn't have much of a factor. But, yes, sir.
Hey, BYU visiting Texas a couple of times this fall, and in the future is certainly awesome for the family, which will be great. BYU's had some real success in the NFL with running backs recently, most notably 2,000-yard rushers, Jamal Williams with the Lions, Tyler Algier with the Falcons. What role, if any, did that have on your recruitment, knowing that BYU is putting guys in the NFL and having success?
That had a big role in my recruitment because it just shows, they really utilize the position, and, they know how to develop their guys there. I know Tyler Algier was a walk-on there, so it just shows that they know what they see in backs, and it was just able to just extra confirmation of why I should go there. They're going to have a great O-line, as they always do, and just if I could get back there behind those guys and they're going to develop me, help me make me the best player I am. So I just felt really comfortable making that decision.
Okay, Genevieve and John are your parents. Both played sports in college, softball and basketball.
Yes, sir.
Who, is that where you get all the athleticism? Is it more mom or dad?
We always go back and forth about this, but I would say it's more dad. We say he's a little bit better. He played with AAU basketball with like Chauncey Billups and Tony Gonzalez, those guys. So, yeah, he knows a little bit of basketball. So that's where I grew up. Most of my time, I didn't really take football serious until my sophomore going to junior year. it was more just basketball, not really football. I would go out of town all the time for basketball. I actually ended up playing LeBron's son, which was pretty cool. And, LeBron was at the game, so that was awesome for me. So, yes, sir.
And one of the BYU receivers from Sierra Canyon as well, JoJo Phillips, who was in the signing class. So was he on Bronny's same team at the same time, or was it a different, AAU team?
No, sir. It was an AAU team, so I was in 7th grade at the time. So, yes, sir. It was actually 2018 when he made that, crazy finals run where they just got rid of Kyrie, I believe, and then all that stuff happened, and he was just dominating. So, and he's my favorite player of all time. And I defend the guy with my whole life. If I ever hear anyone talk about LeBron, I always got to get in the conversation. But, yeah, he's just my favorite player. It was really awesome.
Hey, and JoJo can probably hook you up, right? As incoming freshman, you can get connected there, which is pretty fun.
Yes, sir.
Talking to LJ Martin here on BYU Sports Nation. What have the coaches talked to you about, and what are you hoping for in terms of your freshman season at BYU this fall?
They just talked about, just maybe I'm a guy who has a versatile skill set, and, they feel like I could come in and contribute as a freshman. And, of course, that's great to hear, but I'm just really focused on helping the team win, if that's, going making a couple blocks for the backs behind me and, they score touchdowns, that's great. If it's just a couple high fives on the sideline, as long as I'm helping the team contribute, that's all that really matters. I know I'm going to have to compete to get my playing time, but that's what I'm here for, So, yes, sir.
Schedule just came out for BYU this week. What sticks out in your mind about it?
I like how, it's really just, I like the schedule. It's a tough schedule, but I think we'll be able to do well. I feel like we got some guys that are really well. I saw Aiden Robbins was a transfer, and I feel like he's a really good player. I've watched a couple of his things because, that's who I'm going to be in the room with. And I feel like the rest of the running back room will be able to do well. And also, I like Iowa State because I have a friend there who plays safety. So I really want to play against him, which would be pretty cool.
I'm looking forward to an encounter in the box between you and your friend. What's his name at Iowa State?
Sir, Jeremiah Cooper. He's going to be a sophomore safety out there. So, yes, sir.
Well, we're super excited to have you at BYU, LJ. It's going to be awesome, man. And before we finish, go ahead and shout out your favorite teacher and your favorite class at your high school there.
I'm going to say my favorite teacher has to be Mr. Medina in stats. He's a great dude. Just, he's always into football. He's just a great dude, and I really love him, and he loves the students. So, I can't say much greater things about him.
Awesome. Well, enjoy class, and we'll see you, I assume, in June, thereabouts?
Yes, sir. I'll see you guys sometime in June.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
LJ, thanks for the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.